Hello. In this series of videos, very brief videos, I'm going to talk about how to do the most basic of statistical prediction using a parametric approach, parametric model. Basically, what we want to do is predict scores and come up with a model of how to predict it. And the models we're going to use are going to be extremely simple. So in one case, we will just predict in two cases, we'll predict a constant. One case will predict 0, and the other will predict a number that we think is maybe more realistic than 0. And then in the third case, we'll actually use the mean of our data, the mean score for our data. And the idea is to see how well do our predictions match the actual scores, and we will find a way in a subsequent video. I will show you how to use the scores and the predictions to estimate the error. So that's the prelude. For now, let's just focus on what we're doing. So the first thing is get yourself a score sheet to record your data. What I'm going to do is 20 observations, and you can do this along with me on your own. You'll get different results. That's good. Notice that there are only two columns at this point. There's an observation. Observation is your subject number, your participant number. It's each individual score. And the next column is the score that is associated with that observation. So to collect our data, I am going to use a deck of cards. And it's a standard playing deck from a casino. And the first thing that I will do is remove all of the jokers and other superfluous cards that are irrelevant, have no numeric value. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the face cards, because we could assign a numeric value to them, but it just gets confusing. And if we just use the cards number ace through 10 or 1 through 10, that's just a little more straightforward, a little less confusing. So this is our population that we're going to draw our data from. How much am I going to draw? Well, the thing is, if I know the population, I know the exact number I can predict, and that would make for a not very interesting demonstration. So we're going to just take a sample of our data. We know that if I've taken 12 face cards out of a deck of 52 cards, I've got 40 cards here. So let's do a sample of, well, let's try 10 for starters. So I've got my data sheet, and I will start drawing numbers for it. So the first card has a score of 5. So for subject 1, I will put a score of 5 on my score sheet. The second value is a 5. The third is a 4. Next is a 2. Observation 5 is a 9. Observation 6 is a 4. Or if you prefer, participant 7 scored a 6. Participant 8 got a score of 9. A little confusing there. Participant 9 got a score of 3. And participant 10 got a score of 6. So those are my data. Now, to predict, let's begin with the notion that we can predict a score of 0 for each observation. 0 is an interesting choice in that I think it's fair to say we know 0 is not a realistic prediction, given that the range of scores was 1 to 10. But sometimes if we design our models well, as we'll find in subsequent lectures, we may actually deliberately try and make the average score or the middle score 0. and we have techniques for doing that that you'll enjoy learning about. But in that case, we really are testing to see if the value is different from 0. Um, but for now, let's just try 0 as a prediction. But let's also try another prediction. We can do a little bit more informative one. If you think that about the fact that in our population, it's cheating, but we actually do know the average score for a deck of 40 cards, and that would be the average value would be 5.5. So let's test and see, did our sample fall in the 5.5? What if we predicted 5.5 as a constant for each observation? And then finally, we'll actually compute the mean, and we'll look at the mean and calculate the difference between those. What I think I will do at this point is end this video and then move on to a second video where I do the predicting the constant of 0 and show you how that worked. So thank you.